Beginning of this concert, you can see dozens of people here. They've already started set up. They got the flags in the background. They got the music stands, the drum set. All of this starts right around 6:30. It's called Unbreakable Spirit of Ukrainians concert. It's going to include a candlelight vigil and speeches from local leaders and community activists to discuss what this war has meant to them. It's being put on by the House of Ukraine. We are going to be speaking to those impacted by this war throughout the next couple hours. I want to show you some of the stark images that they've posted along this wall. For 365 days of the war, you can see some of the devastation, but also some of the camaraderie, like here in Warsaw, Poland, where thousands of protesters joined in support of Ukraine. You can see even some of the local leaders, like this is Pope Francis, holding up a Ukrainian flag. But unfortunately, sadly, a lot of the images are the devastation, including these firefighters here retrieving bodies of people hurt or killed in the rubble. We're talking about tens of thousands of people who have died and millions of Ukrainians who have been displaced. I want to get out to ABC's Lindsay Watts reporting on a somber but defiant day in Ukraine.
1 year since the first Russian missiles hit Kyiv.
Бо гинуть тут хлопці і дівчата.
Ukrainian President Zelensky speaking to media from around the world. He says if the international community keeps its word about help and aid, Ukraine will definitely win. ABC News reporter Ian Pannell asking Zelensky what he says to Americans who believe the U.S. is giving too much to Ukraine. A new poll shows support fading since last year.
What would your message be on the anniversary to those Americans?
Zelensky first thanking Americans, going on to say if they do not support Ukraine, they will lose NATO. They will lose the influence of the United States of America. President Biden today announcing a $2.5 billion aid package for Ukraine and sweeping new sanctions against Russia. He also met with G7 leaders and Zelensky in a virtual meeting. The United Nations overwhelmingly approved a resolution calling for Russia to withdraw forces. 7 countries voted against it, 32 abstained, including India and China.
Україна живе.
On this somber day in Ukraine, Russian President Putin has been silent.
Over the last year, Russia has killed tens of thousands of Ukrainian men, women, and children, uprooted more than 13 million people from their homes.
Amid concerns China could start providing weapons to Russia, China today calling for a ceasefire and providing a proposal to end the conflict. Zelensky in response saying that China talking about Ukraine is, quote, not bad. Lindsay Watts, ABC News, Washington.
Small caliber tank round or large caliber mortar round landed, I want to say 5 meters outside our bedroom door.
A Pacific Beach Marine veteran who has joined the fight in Ukraine is speaking out about the dangers and his role in the fight. He told ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chen about what is fueling his continued motivation.
To be frank, it's genocide. I couldn't not come.
Speaking to us from Ukraine, Marine veteran Eddie Itu talked about his resolve to continue the fight.
First and foremost, I hate bullies. That's why I came here, and that's why I'm still here.
Itu arrived in Ukraine last April before joining the territorial defense and enlisting in the Ukrainian military. Right now, he's somewhere east of Kherson in southern Ukraine, near the front lines. He's trained Ukrainians, laid anti-tank mines, and helped defend areas reclaimed from the Russians. Itu deals with incoming artillery on a daily basis.
That is nerve-wracking, especially when we take casualties.
Itu is also a drone operator. Once, during a recon mission, a Russian drone team located his team.
They knew what tree line we were in. Artillery round that landed maybe 75 meters away. The point is they knew where we were. And after that, it was like, all right, we're packing up.
Itu, who served in the Marines for 4 years and was deployed to Iraq, has once again called upon his training.
Try to focus on the tasks one at a time. Frankly, you learn to embrace the suck when it really starts to suck. I try to lean into it. If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Itu signed a 3-year enlistment and has no regrets. He's inspired by the Ukrainians he serves with. Taxi drivers, artists, and others a year ago. Now they are seasoned fighters.
I see their drive, their motivation, their desire, not just survive, but to live. How do I continue to draw motivation? I look around.
Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
And despite Russia sending in waves of new fighters, Itu says he and his fellow soldiers do not feel outnumbered, in part because of their training and technology provided by allies. He says if Russia thinks they can wear Ukrainians down, they are wrong. And as you can hear behind me, the music has started. I want to bring in right now Paul Folenko. He is one of the musicians for tonight. And we've actually spoken with Paul before, so you may have remembered him a couple days ago when we were chatting with you. We were chatting with you and your mom. A very great story because your mom goes back and forth between here and Ukraine. She goes back there to take care of your grandmother. Is that correct?
That is correct.
She's on her way there now.
Yeah, she is. She actually, since you interviewed her on Monday, she's traveling there right now.
How do you feel? I mean, we're on a 1-year anniversary, somber anniversary. What feelings are going through your mind and heart right now? Obviously, we have an event to support, but you have a family member going back. Still war-torn 1 year in. What feelings are going through your head right now?
Feelings, as difficult as the situation is, right now the spirit both in Ukraine as well as throughout the world is victorious. Because we are celebrating here today a full year of consistent attacks and unprecedented heroism, both for people who are not just fighting to save their lives and save their land, but they're fighting for global security and the future of their generations and their children. So people have a very optimistic feeling in such efforts.
I'm sure the viewers at home can hear some of the music in the background here. This is going to be a rockin' concert tonight. Tell us, what can we expect for tonight?
Yeah, so we're very excited to play this concert today. I play bass in this band myself. We've been playing concerts almost every other week throughout the war. And there's really two things that we want to highlight. We want to highlight how rich the Ukrainian musical culture is. We are doing renditions of songs that are 600 years old, 500 years old. And during the war, there was a lot of new music that was released by people in Ukraine that are capturing the dynamics and the struggles and the spirit that is right now in Ukraine and that they feel as support throughout the world. So we're going to be playing a lot of new music that just came out in the last 12 months. And we are just very excited to showcase this to the San Diego community.
I'm excited. Listen, music is so powerful. And anytime you're going through something like this, anytime you can have music to bring things together, I'm sure that's going to be very well received. Paul Folenko, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for coming.
And safe travels to your mom as well. Well, Kimberly, we're going to send it back to you in the studio. We're going to have more about tonight's event coming up at 5:30. Kim, back to you.
Yeah, so much goodwill going out to Ukrainians. Thank you all.